What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So today, kind of like a little tackle tip deal, I'm going to talk to you guys about crankbaits. So it is crankbait season right now, from the fall all the way through the spring. Shallow cranking for the most part. It's a big deal in the cold weather, and there's a bazillion different types of crankbaits out there that you want to choose from, and you make a smart choice. And it's overwhelming sometimes as to what crankbait am I going to choose? I mean, color-wise, size, sound. I get caught up in it a lot of the times as well, but there's a little system I've got to really nail it down and help you make a good decision on which bait to choose. So all these right here laid out are Berkley crankbaits. These are the ones that I primarily throw fall all the way through March. Tends to be, March, April. The first of April is when that crankbait bite kind of starts to die out for me. March tends to be the last really good month for throwing a crankbait up shallow. There are always exceptions, but March, February, we're going to talk November to March, that cold weather time frame, pre-spawn type deal. So, water's cold. A lot of the times we're going to be throwing baits that have a pretty tight wobble. So, there are a few crankbaits I like to throw. This one's really popular. As you can tell, it's got pretty sharp hooks on it. Berkley Fritz side. So it comes in all kinds of different sizes and colors. Then we got a size. This is a 7 here. They make it a 5, 7, and a 9. These are all crawl patterns that I've got right here, but they make them in some pretty sweet looking shad patterns. And they got different sounds to them too. So the OG Fritz side, flat-sided crankbait, it's quiet. It's meant to be subtle. You can hear it right here. I'm pinching the hooks and the split ring. I'm shaking both of them. That's the OG Fritz side. Doesn't make a sound. It's really quiet. So I tend to lean with this one in super clean water, and super, super cold water. Like I said, there are always exceptions, but sometimes when I'm needing to be really finessey, that completely quiet crankbait gets a lot of bites. This color right here, it's kind of a hot mustard, old school looking color. I really rock with that one in some pretty stained water. That's not really a clear water. I stick with more. There's a difference between like red and orange, and I like the more like orange and browns in some pretty dirty water. That phenomenal crankbait. This is the junior too. You can see like how small that little guy is right there. Killer bait. So now, let's kind of keep it simple. We got the clicking Fritz side. It's pretty loud. You can hear it. It knocks pretty hard. So this bait, dirtier water as well. It's pretty sweet because it makes a little bit more noise. Or if you're around fish that, are pretty active like spotted bass, they're always real revved up and ready to go. I like this clicking bait to get a few extra bites. Or if it's really windy, a little bit extra noise is a big deal. I like that OG Fritz side if the water's real calm. Something to be a little bit more quiet and let the fish feel it more than, hear it. Let them feel it a little bit better with the lateral line, things like that. This right here, you can trigger more of their senses, dirtier water, windy, or if they're just really active and revved up, it might trigger you a few extra bites. And it's just a different sound. This bait is newer. They came out with this after the original Fritz side, so this is a big deal. I know a lot of guys that really like this bait. That color right there, definitely a dirty watercolor, super bright. We have different shades of red, so show you guys kind of what I like. So super clear water around the house, I try to stick with these ghost translucent colors a lot of the times, especially on up in the day. Early in the morning, you might catch me with something a little more like this, kind of like a natural crawdad, little chartreuse, green olive on the back. That's good, even in clear water early in the morning. So I like that, solid colors early or if it's really cloudy. And then we got some clear water around here, so I like these ghosty red colors right here too. So Berkley makes all different shades of red for any crankbait that you want to throw. So you can definitely hone in and dial it in on what you want based on the watercolor, or if you're even that dialed to know the crawfish, the way they look in there, you can really match it up to a pattern that you got right there. So, on to the next one. This one's probably my favorite. It's really loud. This is the Berkley Money Badger. So, this is the 13-foot diver. This is the 7.25 Money Badger. It's the bigger size. Man, this thing is a bad son of a gun. You can throw it good. It's got a really aggressive bill design, and you cannot get that joker hung up in anything. It comes through rocks extremely well. And for me, this bait is kind of where the Fritz side is kind of more meant to creep and crawl across rocks. I've caught them burning it, but you can creep it across those rocks. This one, steam that joker through there, and it's just deflecting, and it just does different stuff. It's kind of that old school looking bill that like deflects off cover really good. And this was probably this is definitely the workhorse. I just cut this one off my rod. You can see that thing has been absolutely chewed up. That ghost red color, this is the 6.25 Fritz side. And, you know, it's a workhorse bait. Largemouth spots. Definitely on Lanier, Chateau, places I fish all the time. If I had to pick one, that's going to be it, just for the color and the profile. I like that. I can get this bait. It says 6.25. I can get this bait down to probably 11 feet on 10-pound line on a good long cast. I throw most of these baits on 10-pound test line. Occasionally, I'll go a little bit heavier, but 10-pound line is the magic for me as far as getting the bait down there. So, you know, across the country-wise, a little bit warmer water. When the water gets frigid, it's hard to throw a bait that's this loud, obnoxious, and has a really wide wobble. But this time of year, you know, when you start warming up in the spring and you starts cooling down in the fall a little bit, you kind of in that in-between before it gets to the dead of winter, I'll reach for a bait that makes a lot of noise like this. The Fritz side for me is more of a dead of winter waters, you know, sub 45 degrees, fish are really lethargic. You know, that month or two period where the water's really cold is when I reach for a flat-sided bait like that. And, you know, here, the new guy on the block, this bait, it's a year-round bait for me. If I had to pick one to throw year-round, this would be it. It's the Dime, Berkley Dime. It's not that loud. It's got a good, like, average thump to it. They make some good crawl colors. This is the 10, but my favorite is throwing this thing whenever, you know, right now, fish are still keying on bait fish a lot up shallow. And, you know, kind of before the cranking bite's about to die off, you'll get a lot of shad that'll push to the backs of pockets on like February, March time frame. They'll push to the backs of the pockets on a warm afternoon. Colors like this and the 6 and 10 footer, it's awesome. Cranking on long points. If for your Tennessee River guys, schools of fish, they make some solid shad patterns. This is a good like clear watercolor for really pressured fish. Especially ledge fishing nowadays, I try to stick with a more clear crankbait, so to speak, because, you know, it's not too in your face. Those fish have been pressured a lot. But we're talking cold water. I understand that. But this bait right here, you know, it's hard to beat at this time of year. So remember those styles. It's kind of a short video, but remember those styles and remember the actions of each bait is specific to the scenario that you're in, whether the water's really cold, you know, 45 less, and then you got that, you know, 45 to 52 range where it's kind of that happy medium, and then anything over 52-degree water, you can really get away with almost as loud a bait as you want, in my opinion. Let the fish tell you, which, you know, that's kind of a vague statement. I get it. It's really stressful to hear somebody say, well, let the fish tell you what they want, because not a lot of you guys have a lot of time to go out and let the fish tell you what they want. So that's my guide to crankbait fishing in the fall and the spring, fall, winter, springtime. Get out there. Grab you one or two of each of these baits. You don't have to break the bank on a million different crankbaits to feel like you can catch some fish. Buy you one or two of each of these, a shad color and a crawfish color to match what your water color is on average. And go out there and crank it around, hit the bottom, deflect it off some stuff, and you will catch a lot of fish. So thank you guys for tuning in to another video. Some tackle tips go on Tuesday. Tackle tips have always been like my favorite thing in the world to do. Got away from them a while, But we're back on YouTube. Subscribe below. We're doing good so far, guys. We've got a few things going for us. Y'all did great on the last video on Lake Chattooga. We're going to see more of that definitely coming up. Got a few more exciting things coming, but going to try to keep videos pumping and rolling just whatever I can. So get out there. You can find these baits at Hammond's Fishing Center. They've got everything you need. Every one of these